Hey guys, Nate here. Late last week, Facebook posted an article giving us some tips and some best practices for marketing during the holidays. So I want to break these down really quickly. As an advertiser who has run a lot of money in ad spend, I want to see how consistently this lines up with what we do and what we see that works. And then as an advertiser, I'm always loving to learn from what Facebook is actually putting out. What can we get from them? I mean, they're the ones that created the algorithm. And so what we can learn from them and be able to apply that to our processes is typically going to work out better for you to be able to just play ball with them. I mean, that's kind of what they want. And so understanding what they're saying best practices are, being able to relay that to your business, is probably going to work out better for you in the end. So this is posted on the description if you do want to read along, but I'm going to go through them really quickly and be able to kind of analyze them from what I see that works. So there are 5 things, and then there is a kind of the best formula for copy diagram at the end of it. And so the first one is give your brand a voice. This is where Facebook's talking about tailoring your brand voice to your audience and using that across all platforms, being consistent about that. This is something I would say that is right on point, something that we use consistently with anybody that we've ever talked to, any client we've ever worked on. We always question them heavily on audience and basically their voice. Every business owner has a voice. They should want to really create this brand, around their values and around their voice. They all have a voice. And so being able to relay that to the brand and being able to figure out that specific customer, how that customer talks, how they think, and be able to relay that to the brand, well, that's going to create a level of personalization that there's honestly not a lot of people are using. So I'd heavily recommend focusing heavily on the brand and getting your language down. Are you talking informally or formally? Are you talking like you are at a party somewhere, or are you talking like you're sitting next to somebody at a basketball game? How are you talking to these people, and then being able to understand that about your audience as well, and how your audience likes to speak, and what are the language that they're looking for. Creating that personalization, super key. 100% agree with that. The second thing is positioning your product. This is talking about the visual side of advertising and the creative side. And so what they talk about specifically in something like an image ad is really being able to focus on your actual product. What is the actual product, right? Let people know what you're selling in the actual image or in the video. Make sure that your product is the center of the video and not a bunch of other different crazy things. And I know that sounds like a really obvious thing, but I have seen plenty of ads that are so ridiculously confusing that it really doesn't make a lot of sense to even be running the ad. People, they want to know what you're selling. And it all just comes from the idea of, your cognitive faculties that are operating when you're on the internet. You have to be able to utilize, where do you want people to actually look in the image and in the video? What do you actually want to convey to someone out of this that they understand subconsciously, and that it kind of makes them and forces them to look at that place? If you put too many things in there, it can just become confusing, and the attention spans are just not high when somebody is on social media, and so it can be hard to convert them. So making sure that you're focusing on that. I mean, just be blatant with it. Tell them what you're selling. They want to know, and then be able to help them make a decision from there. Number 3 kind of goes along with that, which they call it say it with words, is what they say. I feel like there could have been a better way to title this section, but it's called Say It With Words, where they're kind of, we've talked about visuals, and now Facebook is telling us to actually focus on the actual value propositions of the product, the benefits. Why should somebody buy this product? We call this the USP, unique selling point, unique selling proposition. It's that thing that would make somebody want to buy this, and what you have that no one else does. It's maybe that special feature. What is it about you that makes you different from other people, other competitors that shouldn't buy from them? This is where somebody like a small brand can come up underneath it. They just have a differentiating factor that is hot enough, that is good enough to convert the market to them. It can be a really, really big deal in helping them convert. So totally agree with that. And now typically in a funnel structure, what we're going to do is typically around the top of the structure, we are going to typically start with talking about emotions before features, just because we want to be able to lock those people again. Because again, if you think about somebody who is a window shopper, they might be walking by a window and they see maybe a sign. The first thing that they're looking at is not necessarily always looking at price. The first thing that pops into their head, if maybe it's a woman who sees a dress, she sees that dress and she thinks, wow, like I have maybe an event coming up this weekend. Maybe there's a sign that says wear this at your next event. She has an event coming up this weekend, and now she's thinking, how good will I look in that dress during this event? She's not looking at price. She's probably not looking at the features. She's thinking about her and how this actually benefits her. So really important there on the copy, and really important to think about your funnel structure when you're writing copy. It's important to lead them down in terms of buyer behavior. So that's what I see from my perspective. Number 4, they title it create brand, your own brand packaging. And this is mainly around customer experience. This is something that can work well. It's not necessarily something that I've really considered for most people, because it's, their whole idea is create custom packaging for people. Maybe like if they're buying it for a gift, send out the package as if it is a gift, or something like, wrapped up like and looks like a gift. Most people are going to wrap the boxes anyways, so I don't know really the actual point of that. Doesn't sound like they're talking about branding per se in terms of putting your actual logo or something on the box, but at the same time, I can see the value in that, especially during the holidays. If you really want to stand out, I mean, to me, it's all about standing out to the customer at the end of the day. And so, if you're wrapping up your box in something like gift wrap, or making the box look like something that would be good to be wrapped for a gift, if that creates a greater user experience, then do it. And something they talk about specifically, which is something that 100% wholeheartedly agree with, is write a personal note inside of your order when you're shipping it out. That can be super important. There's some companies that I have specifically bought from just because they wrote actual thank you Nate for purchasing on the invoice slip or on the packaging slip, right? That can go a long way. Again, it adds that personalization, even if it's something very small, like thank you for buying from us. It's something handwritten. It's not typed out on a computer. That's something they talk about here. I think that is better than custom packaging per se, depending on what the product is. I think something like that adds more value and can create more long-term customers. And number 5, spend strategically. That's what they call it. So the first, they're talking about the idea of brand awareness, and how I think this whole article is kind of wrapped around the idea of brand awareness. But then they say something very specific that resonates 100% with me. They talk about running retargeting campaigns. This is something that is basically the clutch of every ad account, is running retargeting campaigns. Because again, you have that, let's use that woman who walked by a window again for an example. She walks by a window and she sees that dress. First she thinks emotionally, but then it's kind of like, maybe I don't want it. Walks away. The next day she walks by it, maybe she sees another sign that says, oh wow, I'm seeing this dress, and I thought about it emotionally yesterday. I still have this event coming up, but now I see that it's on sale. Okay, but maybe she walks away again, and then she walks back, and now she starts seeing the features. Maybe instead of now she's thought about it emotionally, she has now seen the sale, but now the sign says it's made out of some really maybe like a green fabric, or some kind of really special fabric that makes it different from all other dresses. Now she's talking about benefits. But again, you notice it's every time she walks by the window. She's not doing it all on the same day. Same thing can be applied to retargeting structures. The large amount of ROAS that you are going to receive is going to be further down in your funnel. It's not going to be at the top. The likelihood of converting somebody at the top of the funnel is very, very unlikely. And it's probably going to cost more. Even if you do convert someone, you might come out even at least above a 1 ROAS, but at the same time, you're missing a lot of high ROAS down the funnel as well. So something really important to keep in mind. Now, the formula they have for a successful ad copy goes insight, benefit, action, key message. Now, what they mean by insight is, that basically they're summing this whole thing up and going into, insight meaning your audience, talking to your audience. Now, I think what would be better for this is emotion, benefit, action, and then key message. So speaking to that customer emotionally, then talking about benefits, commanding them to do an action, your call to action, click here, buy this, shop now, and then your key message. Your key message can be like your company slogan, right? Maybe, go green today, or, whatever. Clean, the example they use is clean, save, sustain. Maybe something like monthly deliveries to your front door every week. Something like that, right? That's a key message. It's something that is telling them a little bit about your product. It's telling them something about it. But it's kind of the key message, the whole, idea behind your company, maybe one of your mission statement, or something out of your values, or something, your unique selling point. Maybe that's something that can be really added to the key message. But, I think it's all pretty accurate from what we do. But, thinking about I think you can go deeper when thinking about your audience. It's not just about looking inside your audience, but also thinking about what's their emotional tie. And then how do you relate that? And then being able to take this formula structure for ad copy and then being able to maybe switch it around depending on what step you are in the funnel. Because somebody's maybe at the third step of your funnel, well, they've already kind of been touched emotionally. And you want to stand out enough that they recognize that the next ad that they're seeing is something from you to then be able to convert them and change their buyer behavior down the funnel. Thank you guys so much for watching me today. If you liked this video or if you found value in it, please make sure you like and subscribe. It helps me so much with the algorithm, and I look so much forward to bringing you more content. Comment down below strategies that you like that others and you see working. Until next time.